Alright folks, I just got back. Welcome to my non-spoiler review for Star Wars The Force Awakens. We have waited really 3 years, but we've waited, I've waited 25 years to see this freaking movie. This is my non-spoiler review, so I'm not going to give away any spoilers in this review. Tomorrow, I will drop my spoiler review, and I'm going to come back with a few guests, and we're going to really dissect the movie and talk more in depth, as the coming days and weeks go by. So, I'm very emotional right now. I've calmed down a bit. I had to gather my thoughts. This movie, I never in my wildest dreams, and I said this about Creed too, but this is even better. I never thought it would be this good. I literally, and I'm not ashamed to say it, I literally cried 3 times. I won't talk about where. I'll tell you tomorrow in the spoiler review, maybe if I remember. Just an amazing movie. Literally every single thing that could have been done right was done right in this film. JJ Abrams, of course, directed it. And his vision for Star Wars was a very, very good mix of the old and the new. I don't want to go into plot details of the movie. I just want to say that the special effects in this film looked unbelievable. I've never seen a movie look this real. Like, the CGI kind of plastic look of the prequels is nowhere to be found in this movie. There were a couple of parts with certain CGI. There was a little bit of CGI. Certain stop-motion characters looked a little weird, but overall, the film looked so real. The battle scenes looked incredible. The way that JJ's direction of the film was with the different kind of camera angles, he brought back like the wipes that George Lucas was using in the original trilogy and in the prequel trilogy, but he added new kinds of camera angles, kind of a modern way of directing the film. And, he retained everything that made the original trilogy great, and he added some newer modern elements to it. Just fantastic stuff. The performances, all right, well, special effects were great. The performances, pretty much everybody was great. I had heard some reviewers say that Domhnall Gleeson's General Hux was a little too hammy. I didn't think so. I thought he was fantastic in the role. I thought he was incredible in the film. Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, unbelievably menacing. I'm not going to give away spoilers, but I will say this. Kylo Ren is a scary, scary man. And really a new, I guess you can say just a new level of heel heat, as they say in the business. Just what a villain, this guy. And Daisy Ridley, for a female, for a person, for a woman, for an actress's first movie, was so unbelievably great. And I was such a huge fan of her. And really, the person who she was just unbelievable as Rey. And then Finn, played by John Boyega, and Poe, played by Oscar Isaac, were both incredible characters. The performances by all these actors were great. There wasn't a single performance that I didn't dig. And then, of course, the original cast: Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher. Their screen time is definitely not as big as the new cast. This movie was more of a passing the torch movie. They're not relying on just the old faces. But, of course, Anthony Daniels came back to play 3PO2. We did have all the old faces come back. And they were all great. Harrison Ford's performance as a more grizzled and kind of older Han Solo, and also as a grizzled, Carrie Fisher as like a kind of an older, war-torn Princess Leia, was incredible. They knew the characters. They knew what they were doing. It was just unbelievable. And I'll talk more about Mark Hamill as Luke in the spoiler review, okay? I'm not going to get into it here. And I want to ask everybody, please do not leave spoilers in the comment section. If you want to discuss the film with me tomorrow when I drop the spoiler review, we'll talk about it. I can't even say, everything looked great. Everything shocked me. Everything was it was one thing after another. The film is perfectly paced. It never really gets slow. It's never boring at all. Never a dull moment, but the pacing wasn't like crazy like Revenge of the Sith was, where it was like, kind of way too fast. They crammed in enough so that everything made sense. They didn't go too far with anything. Everybody was just great. Maz Kanata, her voice, Lupita Nyong'o playing Maz Kanata, her voice was fantastic. The musical score by John Williams delivered. This was the best movie of the year. Mad Max was really good. Creed was really good. to me, this was the best film of the year. But of course, I am going into it as a Star Wars fan, so there is something to that. You don't have to see the previous 6 films. You can just watch the last 3, rewatch them, and then watch this movie. The opening crawl really catches you up to speed as to what's going on, but there were still a lot of unanswered questions. But the beautiful thing about that is that they still... Okay, the difference between that and like another movie is that they know for a fact that they're going to come back and do episodes 8 and 9. Like, we know this for a fact now. Episode 8 starts shooting, really starts shooting next month, January. We know we're going to get the sequel, so it's good that they did not give too much away here. They gave away enough to fill you in, but there's still a lot of unanswered questions, and they're going to save a lot of these questions for... the answer, for the extended material, like the books and the comics, as well as the future films. And the story, this was a great jumpstart to a new story. Just fantastic. There is not much more I can say. This is an amazing movie. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, you need to go see this movie, because it literally, like, I was so shaken and emotional. The movie ended, I'm just frozen. Like, I didn't even know how to even take it. Like, I've never felt that way about a film, ever. Like, never in my life have I ever just sat there and just stared at the credits and just not even trying to digest everything. Just, what an experience. I'm never going to forget this day as long as I live. Go see Star Wars The Force Awakens. Do not watch my spoiler review until I drop the spoiler review, until you see the movie. Don't watch this. It's going to drop tomorrow, Friday. Do not watch this film. I'm all fucked up right now. Do not watch my video until you watch the movie. You need to watch the movie, okay? Because the twists in this movie and the way the story goes, you have to see it with an audience, and you have to not be expecting it, because otherwise the movie fails. You need to go see this without knowing shit. It really is a bummer that JJ Abrams is not coming back to do 8 and 9, but he set the table real good for Rian Johnson to come in and do 8, and I cannot wait 1.5 years to find out where this story goes. I really can. Anyways, that's it for my non-spoiler review. High praise, best movie of the year. Maybe the best movie I've seen in many years. I have to really think about it. But as far as like the genre movies like Avengers and The Dark Knight Rises and all these other movies that, kind of nerd movies, geek movies that we all love, this was the best one I've seen in a long time. In a long time. I have to really think about it. I'm going to go see it again, because this is just my opinion. First viewing, you got to see a movie at least 2, maybe 3 times before you can really... really digest everything. So I'm going to go see it again. The only con I would have about this movie, taking away all the fanboy love for certain characters, is that every character had a little bit of moment to shine, but there were a couple characters that didn't really get too much screen time, which I think is going to be saved for the next one. But they're introducing a whole lot of new characters and concepts, so you really couldn't do it. And again, like I said, we're going to get 2 more movies, so again, they're going to fill it in. People are going to get the time. But of the new characters, right, everybody got an adequate amount of screen time, with the exception of like maybe 2 characters, which I'm not going to get into right now. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Just go see the fucking movie, all right? Go see the fucking movie, then go to my spoiler review, then we'll talk about it in the comment section. Then if you want to comment down below, just tell me if you liked the movie, and if you didn't, do not tell me why. Just tell me if you liked it or you didn't. I don't want any spoilers getting out for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. Go see it. Thank you, and I'll catch you down the road.